Hi everybody, this is Roxy. So I'm going to make a kind of a journal out of this super cute emoji book using their little punches or their little stickers. And what I'm going to do is I have arthritis in my hands. I have IBS, which I've talked about. And I also have Occipital Neuralgia, among other things. So, Occipital Neuralgia, sorry about that, scam phone call. So among other maladies, I have reason to believe that if I change my diet, pay attention to the weather, and other things that could change my health, I'm going to be a better person or feel better. I don't know if anybody out there has IBS, I'm sure. I know when I talked about unfiltered apple juice, a few people commented. And IBS is a real tricky little condition. My little story or my journey with it is probably about 4 years ago, I started feeling like one night I was just laying in bed, going to bed, and I felt like the left side of my stomach felt really hard. Like one of the organs was hard. And I do not know my organs, where they are, let alone what they all do. But I'm guessing it was my intestine. Anyways, if you're going to get gross by this, you might want to fast forward to, I'll put in a time you can fast forward to. But anyways, so I kind of got nervous, and then it just started being that way, where it would be real hard at night and kind of a little bloated. Well, I got real scared and nervous that, of course, I jumped to ovarian cancer because my mother died from ovarian cancer. And so, and I had also been having problems with constipation or diarrhea. And so, instead of going to the doctor, I sat and worried and literally worried myself sick with it. And what I mean is, whatever was going on got worse. I had more bloating and more bowel problems. It got to the point where if I went out to eat, I would be nervous. So nervous that if I took a bite, I'd almost get sick because I was worried that I would have diarrhea. So, or just get sick from it. So it got to where I just couldn't go out to eat anymore. I'd get so sick that I would not make it home in time or wherever to the bathroom in time, if you catch my drift. And so finally I thought, you know what, I better just go in and find out that I've got ovarian cancer and, or colon cancer, whatever it is. I of course went right to there. So I went to this doctor. I actually had a doctor at my clinic that retired, and I went, they kind of just passed her clients off to another doctor, and I went and saw her first. And she kind of was like, well, let's get an MRI, let's do a CAT scan, let's do the ultrasound, do this and that. And I'm like, well, can we first talk about symptoms and what other possibilities they could be? Oh, I forgot this part. I had always understood that if there was female cancer in your family, you're kind of a dead duck, or you're going to get it too. So my mother had ovarian cancer. She got it when she was 65. Her mother had cervical cancer in her late 60s, early 70s, I think. And then my mother's aunt had breast cancer, but also in a later time in life. So one day I was at another doctor's appointment, and a geneticist came in just to talk about different things. And I thought, what the heck? And I asked her about this. And she said, well, if you if it's true about familial female cancers and others, that it can be, it's something you need to watch for. But she said, if their cancers didn't show up until their 60s or 70s or later years, that's just a matter of their body aging and becoming more, susceptible, I guess, to cancer. She didn't use that word. That's my word. She said, it's more important that you watch for those cancers when the people you love or your family had those cancers when they were younger, like in their 30s or 40s, early 50s. So with that information, I went to this doctor I was already talking about, and she wanted to do all these tests and this and that, and I don't like doing these tests. It's hard for me to do the tests physically because of another little malady that I have, or another disability I have. So I kind of just went home thinking, I'm SOL. So that's my alarm for Sheila, but I hear her outside barking, so she's fine. So I waited again, and I got sick, and I was sick, and I tried not eating this and that, and I never even went to IBS. In fact, I just was sure it was ovarian cancer. So finally I thought, you know what, I can't put this off anymore. So I went on the website for my doctor's office and I thought, I'm just going to go find another doctor. So I found this woman that she uses more holistic approach, which is what I like. That was another thing. My other doctor, she wanted to give me medicine right away. And I know I've mentioned this before. I can't take a lot of medicine. I have just a lot of allergies and sensitivities to a lot of different things, including medicines, chemicals. I can't do aspartame, any of that stuff. Aspartame. So with her being more of a holistic medical doctor, I thought, I'm going to tell her or check her out. So I go there. She's awesome. Plus she said, well, we talk about everything. And she said, I think your symptoms sound more like IBS. And then she explained what all of that was and, listed certain foods, corn being one of them, which since I was little, I love corn on the cob, but it doesn't love me. And that's since I was little. I'm also lactose intolerant. So, yeah, I got a lot, everybody, we all do. So she said, can I just ask, so why did you, because I told her that I was going to see this one and then that one, and she said, why did you choose me? And I said, well, I just liked that you take more of a holistic approach. And she said, oh, because I am very interested in gastroenterology, even though I'm not a gastroenterologist. But she says, my husband has IBS, and so I've kind of just focused on that area of study. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is just perfect. So she gave me all this information, these foods I should stay away from. And there's a big list. A lot of it is foods that are hard to digest, like corn. Pork and ham, any kind of pork, is the worst. And I have finally, as much as I love ham and pork chops, I finally stopped eating it. Excuse me. Because it's just not worth it. It makes me so sick. But here's the weird part, and I'm really taking a long time to tell you this. After she told me that I don't have, she said, it's not ovarian cancer. And she said, your geneticist was correct when she said that any kind of familial usually shows up, at younger ages. But she said, I really believe it's IBS. And just, take a few weeks and get rid of these foods and see how you feel. I go home with her list and all her instructions, and I am not kidding, within that day, pretty much, I started feeling better. And I thought, is this all psychosomatic or in my head? Because I really did. I started feeling better. I still was having, problems with my bowels, but I started eliminating foods, gradually. But I mean, immediately I started feeling better. And when I went back for my checkup, I told her, I said, it's really weird. But I said, I started feeling better right away. And I said, I don't feel stressful anymore when I eat. And she said, that's a major problem with IBS sufferers, is that stress can bring on symptoms too. It's not just the food, but even stress can bring on your symptoms. So if you have IBS or if you have any of those symptoms, go get checked out, because like me, waiting was kind of stupid. I mean, you can hurt your organs by not being good to them. So anyways, back to my little book. I decided, I mean, I was looking at these emojis and thought, you know, they're all kind of like, you know, obviously how we feel or whatever, like we're tired, we're this and that. But I thought this would be a really great thing, because I want to start keeping track of all my symptoms, because I also have what is called Occipital Neuralgia. And my eye doctor, actually, I went to every doctor I could think of last year, and I had a brain scan, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. What was happening was I'm not even going to go into the details because it's just really weird. Okay, I will. So every time I took a shower, I still do, I would see this blotch, kind of reddish black blotch in my left eye. And it was, I don't mean on my eyeball, but my vision. I would see it through my vision. And, you know, and only when I was getting my hair wet to wash it. So, you know, this doctor thought, well, maybe, you know, use colder water. Another doctor said, well, don't get your hair wet. It's like, well, I have to wash my hair. And nobody could figure it out at all. So I finally went to another ophthalmologist, and he said, he pushed on my right, it was in my left eye, and he pushed on the right side of my back of my neck. And he said, does this hurt? I'm like, yeah, because it hurt really bad. And he says, I think you have occipital neuralgia. And he said, that's basically like having sciatica in your head. There's a nerve back here in this occipital nerve. All it does is feel hot, cold, you know, so it only feels temperature and pain. And I've been crafting a lot and typing a lot for work. And so my neck has been kind of not extending the way it should. You know what I mean? I'm looking down a lot. You know, that's what they call texting neck, I think. But so that became a major problem. So the occipital neuralgia, it comes whenever I'm crafting, I get it. Whenever I'm just, you know, working, it comes, I always have it pretty much. It just flares up, you know, when it's not, my neck's not working right or whatever. So I want to keep track of that. I want to keep track of my IBS symptoms, which means I'll need to keep track of what I'm eating. I'll need to keep track of my daily duties. You know what I mean. And I'll need to keep track of my headaches. And then for my arthritis, I want to keep track of like the weather and when my arthritis flares up, because 2 weekend, not this past weekend, last weekend before, my hands, I could barely do anything. They hurt so much. And last week, what day was it? This past week we got snow. So I want to keep track of how the weather affects my body. And I think it affects my occipital nerve and my arthritis. And then I want to keep track of my sleep, because that's a whole nother thing I'm not going to get into anyways. So I came up with some icons. I'm just going to put tabs in this book. So now this is where, if you didn't want to hear all that other stuff, you're probably just coming in maybe. So I've got one for the food intake. Put these down like that. Weather. And then my neck, because my acupuncturist will be on here. Like I'll put all my neck stuff on one thing. Like when I go to acupuncture and how bad my neck is and what I've been doing to make that bad. IBS, because it feels like your tummy's on fire. And then my daily duties, my sleeping, my arthritis because my hands hurt, my occipital neuralgia, and then also my moods. Because with all that going on, sometimes you feel like crap and you feel kind of ishy, and some days you feel like you just don't even want to do anything. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to punch out these little things. I've got this little, this is a EK Success. I don't know if there's a number. There's a patent number, but they have these at Michael's all the time. I think you can always get it. So I'm just going to punch out a bunch of these. I love this little book. It's so cute. Oh, no, this is how I'm going to do it. Never mind. I want to put them, see, when I did these, I did them so that they would go that way, but I kind of want it so that they're like that, you know? So I wasn't thinking, and I did them wrong. All right, so I need French fries. Oh, I better go get shishi. Okay, so I first want to do my food. See, I already did it. Goofy. I'm going to do it this way. Because I want to have space down here so I can have it hang off the page. I'll show you that. So see, it'll be like that. Like that, okay? So, got that. I'm going to do 2 of each, like, you know, a front and a back. Where'd I put it now? Out there. Okay, and then where's the other food one? Let's see, I got to get another thing out. Oh, there it is. In the weather. And then my unicorn. I think there's 2 of them. Nope, only one. I think because they did a big one. Let's see one. Good thing there's a lot of these stickers. And then, we're going to do this one. And then my tummy, burning. Where is the fire? There. Why would they? Okay, I will do all these so you don't have to sit and watch. Okay, So now I can put in my food. Did I change? Look at I changed. No, I didn't. Okay. Oh, some days I wonder. So I'll put the first one down. And I don't need like a heading or... Just gonna put it way up here. And then... Let's see, I did this goofy. Should have done them every other, like... That's okay. I should have done one to the left, one to the right. Stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight. So, there's the tip. Don't do it exactly like that, but this will work. Okay, then you want to do the last one. And I'm just going to give about, I don't even know how many pages. I don't think it says how many pages are in here. I'll just give a few pages. Maybe I'll count them. Okay, so there's 50 pages divided by 9 things, so that gets 5.5 pages each. So we'll just do like 5, and then some can be 6. So for this one, I'm just going to go to the bottom. And that will be moods. Oops. You guys should tell me I'm screwing this up. Did the wrong thing. For this one, I did a sad face and a happy face. Who wants to see a sad face all the time? Okay. Then, now we've got, now we just got to fill in the rest. Kind of even them, space them out. I'm going to do 6 for the food one though. Alright, so then I need weather. I'm going to put weather and food in the front because those are factors, mitigating factors that can affect all of these other things. Not even in camera. There. got that from my sister-in-law. She had 3 kids, and she wouldn't say bowel movement. She wouldn't say poop. She wouldn't say... She always said, well, my kids aren't, you know, so-and-so's not having their daily duty. And I'm like, what do you mean, like chores? And no, they're daily duty. And I'm like, well, and I had to like keep guessing because she wouldn't say. Finally, I'm like, you know, she goes, you know, when you eat and then you have to get rid of it. I said, what do you mean throw up? Why would she throw up every day? I mean, it was like a 20-minute guessing game. It's kind of funny when I think of it now. So I use that all the time now. I've been watching RV living videos. It's kind of fun. Go to RV Living. I think it's RV Living. And there's a guy, he interviews all these people. And it's not like, I mean, they're like really cool people, just like regular women and men that, you know, like a lot of the women seem to have gotten out of bad relationships. And then, you know, they're older, they can't afford to live in an apartment or a house on their Social Security or whatever. Or not even older, it's like they're just, you know, wanting to take a break. But there's some really fun RV vloggers. Like one lady lives in a van. And she said, I didn't want a big truck. And driving that around a big camper. I think her name's Carolyn Camp or something. And then I think there's one RV today that's really cool. But they became friends. I mean, it's really cool to watch. There, so there's my little booklet. Now I'm going to do my headlines. Okay, because I have to have like food. I'll have headlines of bread. Because my sister keeps saying to get off the bread. Stop eating bread and stop eating sweets. I've noticed sweets affect my allergies. And she said, like, her husband quit all that, and his allergies are kind of gone. And then I need to just keep track of my liquid intake. And then etc. would be what I have to eat other than those things. So then I can kind of determine what might be bugging my system. I have not decided how I'm going to do that yet. I think I'm just going to write it in. I think I'll think about that for a minute. Okay, it's RV Joey, Joey, and Caravan Carolyn. And they're hilarious. They met on camping somewhere and became best friends. So then they kind of moved from camp to camp. There was one lady, she's living in a little car, but she's got it so set up that it's really cool. I'm going to wing this. And then I'll just set this up every week or whatever. However long this gets filled in. I think all those dots there. Alright, so I need breads, sweets, liquid, and then etc. Okay, that's done. Then we have weather. And I only need the humidity on here. Maybe precipitation. And barometric pressure. Okay, so I gotta do 3. I'll just do 3. Because the barometric pressure affects all of us, especially kids and animals. And I learned that when I was teaching CCD at church. Our director told me that. I had first graders, and she said, he'd come in and she goes, it's going to be crazy that barometric pressure is really high or whatever. And she said, she claimed, and she's true, it's true. But it also affects, I think it also affects arthritis. All right, so humidity. I had a boss, or one of my bosses, he was this genius engineer, and he always called it humidity. And then BP. Then for this one, I need acupuncture. Acupuncture just needs to be the date. And then what am I thinking, like activities that brought me to that. And IBS. This I'm going to have to keep track of. I think I'm going to have to keep track of bloating, pain, like what gives me pain after I eat. Like what did we have the other day, and I was just like, ooh. Like sometimes chow mein will, but then sometimes the other night it didn't. Because I was like waiting for it. So bloating, pain. And then I'm going to leave that open because I might think of something else. Okay, now poo-poos. This I'm just going to have how many date and consistency, because you really need to keep track of that and pay attention to that. And there's a chart, you can just Google it. There's a chart on what your poo-poos should be like. And I know I'm being like a little baby, but better than daily duty, right? And then sleep is AM, PM. So I only needed a couple. Well, AM, PM. And then dryness. Like what woke me up. Okay, and then arthritis is ouch factor. Where and how and pain level. And then occipital is eye ache or ear ache. I better do blotch too in my eye, because I still see that. I had a brain scan, they didn't see anything, but my eye doctor said that your vision is a window to your brain. So he thought because I was seeing that it was maybe a lesion on my brain, but it wasn't. And there was nothing there. Get it? Like nothing at all. No, I'm just kidding. Making fun of myself. So what was I going to do? Earache, eye ache. And the eye ache is really bad. And the earache isn't as bad. But boy, that when the eye aches, it hurts. I'm going to put it twice almost. And then blotch. Because I don't always see it anymore, which is good. Moods is going to be happy face, smiley face, sad face. And then for this one, I'll probably put, yeah, like what was going on that day that made me really happy or made me really sad. Okay, there. So we'll see how long I do this. Oh, I tell you. So there we go. Isn't that cute? Now I can just tab to wherever. If I remember what all these tabs mean, I will. So I probably should put a heading just in case. Food. Intake. What the hell? Where did I put my weather stuff? For crying out loud. I need you guys to tell me this stuff. Well, no, I already got that one filled out. So what were they? BP. Humidity. Okay. And this is weather. Oh, for heaven's sakes, I did it again. I bet I did it to all of them, didn't I? And you guys are just sitting there laughing. And this is IBS. I can't see symptoms. CIYM. Wait, this is a Target, I think. They don't have very good erasers. Daily double. Neuralgia. I think it's IA actually. What's this? Oh, moody. Okay, there. All right, so there's my little book, and I'll do a little update on it and on how I'm doing with it and how it's turning out. Isn't that cute? What a coincidence. All right, so thanks for watching. Bye.